everybody. Good morning. I'm going to present the true story of the three little pigs. Okay? Readers here by Bridget Skofinski.
Last night, a brutal crime happened in the city of Eugene. 3 little pigs were brutally murdered and eaten by a terrible wolf. We are here at Eugene Police Department, where the wolf is going to give his statement. Oh, there he goes.
Okay. Sit down. Okay. So let's start from the beginning and see if I can understand what happened. What's your name?
I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me all. Call me out. Call me out. Him up! I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs. Or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story.
I see. And what makes you so sure?
Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies, sheep, and pigs. That's just the way we are.
Can we stick to the story, please?
If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think, DJ, I kill you. Folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar.
Way back, in once upon a time, Alexander Wolf was making a birthday cake for his dear old friend.
I had a terrible sneezing cold.
He ran out of sugar.
So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar.
Now, this neighbor was a pig.
And he wasn't too bright either.
He had built his whole house out of straw.
Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw?
So, sure, the minute he knocked on the door, it felt right. He claimed he didn't want to just walk into someone else's house.
So I called at the door. I called Mr. Pig. Mr. Pig, are you in?
No answer. He was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for his dear old granny's birthday cake.
That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneezing coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze.
The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail.
He had been home the whole time.
Wow! It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw.
So I ate it up, Think of it as a big cheeseburger, just lying there.
He was feeling a little better.
But I still didn't have my cup of sugar.
So he went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother.
He was a little smarter, but not much.
He had built his house of sticks.
I rang the bell on the stick house.
Nobody answered.
Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in?
Go away, Wolf! You can't come in! I'm shaving the hairs on my teeny chin chin!
He had just grabbed the doorknob when he felt a naughty sneeze coming on.
I ruffed and I snapped and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed the greatest sneeze.
You are not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down, just like his brother's.
When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor!
Now, you know, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open.
So I did the only thing that was to do.
He had dinner again.
Think of it as a second helping.
He was getting awfully full. But his cold was feeling a little better.
But I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake.
So he went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother.
He must have been the brains in the family.
He had built his house of bricks.
I knocked on the brick house. Finally.
No answer.
I called Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little Parker answered?
No idea.
Get away, Wolf! Don't bother me again!
Talk about impolite! He probably had a whole sack full of sugar.
And he wouldn't give him one little cup for her dear sweet old granny's birthday cake.
What a pig!
He was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when he felt his cold coming on.
I rubbed it, and I snuffed it, and I sneezed it once again! Achoo!
Then the third little pig yelled.
And your old granny can sit on a fin!
I'm usually a pretty calm fellow. But when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go like crazy!
You know how much your granny means to you. So, back to the story. When we drove up, of course, he was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time, he was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene.
The rest, as they say, is history.
Well, my crew and I found out about the 2 pigs he ate for dinner. And we figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar for his granny's birthday cake didn't sound a very exciting story.
So they chased up the story of all of that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me a big bad wolf.
That's it. The real story. He was framed.
But maybe you can loan me a cup of sugar.